Imagine this, you're the smallest planet in the solar system, not just small, tiny, smaller than our own moon. For over 75 years, you proudly held the title of the 9th planet. Kids memorized your name in school, you were a celestial celebrity. Then, bam, demoted. Stripped of your planetary status, that's Pluto's story. Brutal, right? Let's take a trip to Pluto. Imagine yourself leaving the comfort of Earth, strapping in for a journey that will take you farther than any human has ever traveled before. Our destination? The mysterious icy world at the edge of our solar system. Pluto, once considered the 9th planet, now stands as a symbol of exploration and curiosity, a frozen outpost waiting to reveal its secrets. As we set our course, the vastness of space stretches before us, filled with unknowns and possibilities. Buckle up, it's a long ride. The journey to Pluto is not for the faint of heart. It takes years, nearly a decade for even our fastest spacecraft, to cross the immense gulf between the inner solar system and this distant world. As you settle into your seat, you can almost feel the anticipation and excitement that must have filled the hearts of the New Horizons team as they launched their probe in 2006, knowing it would travel over 3 billion miles before reaching its target. Way out there, beyond the gas giants, past even the icy realm of Neptune, lies Pluto. It orbits in a region known as the Kuiper Belt, a vast expanse filled with icy bodies and remnants from the solar system's formation. Pluto's path is eccentric and tilted, sometimes bringing it closer to the Sun than Neptune, but most of the time it lingers in the cold, dark outskirts. Here the Sun is just another star in the sky, and the familiar warmth of our home planet is a distant memory. It's a frigid wasteland, billions of miles from the warmth of the Sun. The surface is a patchwork of reddish and white, sculpted by ancient impacts and mysterious geological processes. Towering mountains of water ice rise above vast plains of frozen nitrogen, while deep valleys and shadowy craters hint at a dynamic history. Despite its small size, Pluto is a world of extremes where the landscape is shaped by forces we are only beginning to understand. The Sun, a pinprick of light in Pluto's perpetually twilight sky, barely illuminates the surface of nitrogen ice and frozen methane. Daylight here is dim, casting long, eerie shadows across the landscape. The sky is so dark that the stars shine with a clarity unknown on Earth. Every sunrise and sunset on Pluto is a reminder of just how far we are from home, and how different this world truly is. Temperatures hover near absolute zero. On Pluto, the average temperature is around minus 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 225 degrees Celsius. At these extremes, even gases like nitrogen and methane freeze solid, creating a landscape that is both beautiful and deadly. The air is so thin and cold that it would freeze your breath in an instant, and the ground beneath your feet is as hard as rock, made of ices that never melt. It's about as welcoming as a meat locker in Antarctica. In fact, even the coldest places on Earth seem balmy compared to Pluto's relentless chill. Yet, despite these harsh conditions, Pluto captivates us. Its isolation, its mysteries, and its stark beauty remind us of the vastness of the universe and the spirit of discovery that drives us to explore, no matter how distant or inhospitable the destination. So, what does it take to be a planet? Is it just about being big and round? Nope. There are rules, folks. 3 of them, to be exact. First, you gotta be round. Gravity's gotta pull you into a sphere. Second, you gotta orbit the Sun. No hanging out with other stars, buddy. Third, and here's the kicker, you gotta clear your neighborhood. More on that later. Pluto aced the first 2 rules of planethood. It's round thanks to gravity, even though it's a bit wonky. And it dutifully orbits the Sun, taking a leisurely 248 Earth years to complete 1 lap. That's like celebrating 1 birthday every 2 centuries. But that 3rd rule, the clearing your neighborhood thing, that's where Pluto stumbles. So, what does it actually mean to clear your neighborhood in the vastness of space? It might sound like a cosmic spring cleaning, but in astronomy, this phrase has a very specific and important meaning. When scientists talk about a planet clearing its neighborhood, they're referring to the planet's ability to dominate the region around its orbit. Imagine your room at home. If you're the only one living there, you have control over what stays and what goes. But if your room is constantly filled with other people's stuff, it's a lot harder to keep things organized. In space, this organization is all about gravity. Well, it's all about gravitational dominance. A planet's gravity is like an invisible force field, shaping and controlling everything that comes near it. The stronger the planet's gravity, the more power it has to influence its surroundings. This is what sets true planets apart from other objects in the solar system. If a planet is big enough, its gravity will either pull in smaller objects like asteroids, comets, or space dust, or it will fling them away, sending them off on new paths through the solar system. Over millions of years, this process leaves the planet's orbital path relatively clean and free of debris. You see, a real planet like Earth or Jupiter has enough gravitational muscle to either attract or fling away smaller objects in its orbital path. Think of Jupiter, the heavyweight champion of our solar system. Its massive gravity doesn't just keep its own moons in check, it also acts as a cosmic shield, pulling in or deflecting countless asteroids and comets that might otherwise threaten the inner planets. Earth too has cleared its path, sweeping up or ejecting most of the debris that once shared its orbit. This is a key reason why Earth and Jupiter are considered true planets. They've established clear dominant zones around themselves. They're sort of like the cosmic vacuum cleaners of the solar system. These planets don't just passively exist, they actively shape their environments, making sure their orbital paths are as tidy as possible. Over time, their gravitational influence sweeps up stray rocks, dust, and ice, either absorbing them or sending them far away. This ongoing process is what keeps their neighborhoods clean, much like how a vacuum cleaner keeps your floor free of crumbs and dust bunnies. But not every object in the solar system has this kind of power. Now Pluto? Pluto is a different story. Instead of ruling its orbit, Pluto shares its neighborhood with a whole crowd of icy bodies in a distant region called the Kuiper Belt. This area is packed with countless other objects, some nearly as big as Pluto itself. Unlike Earth or Jupiter, Pluto doesn't have the gravitational strength to clear out these neighbors. It's more like living in a busy apartment building than having your own private room. It's honestly more like a crowded subway car than a well-organized planetary system. Imagine trying to keep your space clean when you're constantly surrounded by other people and their belongings. No matter how hard you try, there's always something in your way. That's Pluto's reality in the Kuiper Belt. A small world in a bustling, chaotic neighborhood, unable to claim its orbit as its own. And that, in a nutshell, is why Pluto lost its status as a planet. It just couldn't keep its cosmic room clean. Okay, so Section 6, Pluto, the comeback kid, well, spoiler alert, yeah, not really. Now, just imagine for a second that we gave Pluto a massive cosmic makeover, like, we're talking about adding enough mass to make it a planet again. Sounds fun, right? But, the problem is that kind of planetary makeover comes with a hefty price tag. We're talking chaos on a solar system scale. Giving Pluto that much mass would totally disrupt the gravitational balance of the entire outer solar system. Remember those icy neighbors out in the Kuiper Belt? They'd be sent scattering like billiard balls after a break shot. Some might even get flung inward, threatening to, collide with the inner planets. Talk about unintended consequences. So, Pluto's not a planet, it's a dwarf planet. But, here's the thing, size isn't everything. Pluto is a fascinating world in its own right. I mean, it has a heart-shaped glacier for crying out loud. Plus, it's the king of the Kuiper Belt, ruling over its icy domain. Pluto's demotion from planet status in 2006 sent shockwaves through the scientific community and the public alike. Suddenly, everyone, from professional astronomers to curious schoolchildren, was asking the same question. What exactly makes a planet? Is it about size, location, or something else entirely? And perhaps more importantly, who gets to make that call? Is it a group of scientists in a conference room, or is it something that evolves as our understanding of the universe grows? These are questions that, even today, continue to spark lively debates in classrooms, observatories, and online forums around the world. The truth is, the definition of a planet isn't as straightforward as you might think. For centuries, people looked up at the night sky and made their own rules about what counted as a planet. Ancient astronomers included the sun and moon in their lists. As our telescopes improved and our knowledge expanded, so did our definitions. But even now, with all our technology and data, we're still grappling with the basics. Over time, we've discovered that our solar system is far more complex and surprising than we ever imagined. There are planets, dwarf planets, moons, asteroids, comets, and countless other objects, all orbiting the sun in a cosmic dance. Some planets are gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, while others are rocky and small, like Mercury and Mars. And then there are objects like Pluto, icy, distant, and mysterious, that challenge our neat categories. Every new discovery forces us to rethink what we thought we knew. And that's pretty cool. The universe is full of surprises, and our quest to understand it is never really finished. Every time we look up at the stars, we're reminded that there's so much more to learn. Whether you're a professional astronomer or just someone who loves to stargaze, there's always a new mystery waiting to be solved. The story of Pluto shows us that science is a journey, not a destination, and that sometimes the questions are just as important as the answers. So, the next time you gaze up at the stars, remember Pluto, the little dwarf planet that could. Once celebrated as the 9th planet, then reclassified as a dwarf planet, Pluto has become a symbol of how our understanding of the cosmos is always evolving. Its story reminds us that even the smallest and most distant objects can capture our imagination and change the way we see the universe. Pluto may be tiny and far away, but it has inspired generations of scientists, dreamers, and explorers to keep asking questions and seeking answers. It's a reminder that even in the vastness of space, even when you're small and far away, you can still have a big impact. Pluto's journey from planet to dwarf planet and back into the spotlight shows us that science is always changing, and that every discovery, no matter how small, can lead to big questions and even bigger adventures. In a universe filled with billions of stars and planets, every object has a story to tell, and every story helps us understand our place in the cosmos just a little bit better. So what do you think makes a planet? Is it about where it orbits, how big it is, or something else entirely? Maybe the real answer is that our definitions will keep changing as we learn more. And that's the beauty of science. It's always open to new ideas, new discoveries, and new ways of seeing the universe. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember that the story of Pluto and the story of what makes a planet is still being written, and you can be a part of it.